So today we're going to talk about direct objects and eventually direct object pronouns. So what is a direct object? The direct object are word or words that receive the action of the verb. It is not the doer of the action, it is receiving the action of the verb. And not only does it receive it, but it receives it directly without any preposition coming between the subject or the verb and the direct object itself. So how do you find it in a sentence? Start out by using the subject and verb, then ask yourself what or whom after the verb. For example, he ate what? She saw whom? The word or words that answer those questions represent the direct object of the sentence. So here's some practice. In each of these sentences, there is a subject, a verb, and a direct object, and sometimes some other things as well. Find the direct object in each of these sentences. Do all 5, and then check the next slide to see if you were correct. Here are the answers. Now be careful. Going back and forth in your mind between English and French sometimes does not work. Sometimes there's a verb that requires either in English or in French a preposition that does not require that preposition in the other language. For example, in French, the verb écouter is not followed by a preposition. So what you're listening to is actually a direct object. J'écoute le disque. There is no preposition between écoute and le disque. In English, however, it's to listen to something. That's a preposition. So in English, that is actually not a direct object. The other way around is also true. In French, obéir requires the preposition à after it before whom you're obeying. So you say, j'obéis à mes parents. In this case, mes parents is not a direct object. But in English, I obey does not require a preposition, and so my parents are a direct object for the word obey. So you have to be careful in a few instances. So you can replace the noun that's a direct object with a pronoun, which I call a DOP, a direct object pronoun. In English, those would be me, you, them, it, him, her. Those would be the direct object pronouns in English. In French, we'll see what they are, but look at these examples. I like the film, I like it. It is replacing the film was a direct object. Max is inviting his friend. His friend is receiving the action of the inviting, so that is the direct object. You can replace that with a pronoun. Max is inviting him. In French, as you already know, there is no difference usually between a person and an object when you're choosing a pronoun. There is no it in French. You either use the masculine pronoun or the feminine pronoun. So you use il plural, or elle and elle plural to replace both things and people. So here are the possible direct object pronouns in French. First person, me, nous, second person, te and vous, and third person, either le or la, depending on the gender, and les. Now, I put a note on the side about nous and vous, because nous and vous, you find them doing all kinds of things. So just because you see nous or vous in a sentence does not mean that it is the direct object. It also does not mean that it's the subject. It might be something else entirely. There are a lot of different things that nous and vous can be. Le, la, and les also can be, you know already, an article, the definite article. So if it's attached to a noun like le crayon or la prof, then it's not the direct object by itself. It's just the article that goes along with the noun. But when it doesn't have a noun attached to it, then it's most likely the direct object pronoun. So where do you put those pronouns when you write the sentence? In French, the direct object pronouns go not after the verb, but before the verb. And if there is a compound verb like he wants to go, or I'm sorry, he wants to see, or he wants to taste, or something like that, then it goes with the verb that it really is the object of. It's not that he's wanting it, it's that he wants to taste it. So it goes with the infinitive, if there is an infinitive there. So here are some examples. J'aime le film becomes je l'aime, the L apostrophe, of course, before a vowel. Tu m'écoutes? Oui, je t'écoute. Il veut faire, here you have the two verbs. Il veut faire les devoirs? Non, il ne veut pas les faire. The les is attached to the faire, not to the veut. And so on. And if it's a negative sentence, then the direct object pronoun is in the sandwich. It follows the ne and precedes the verb. In the passé composé, you still place it in front of the verb, but you place it before the conjugated verb, the helping verb, so the form of avoir that's there. And then the other catch for using it in the passé composé is that the past participle now has to agree in gender and in number with the direct object pronoun. Not with the subject, like when you used être in the passé composé, but with avoir, it goes with the direct object pronoun that comes before the verb. So look at those examples. Il a vu ses parents. Oui, il les a vus. The les refers to the parents. It comes before the a vu, so you have to put an S on the vu. In each case, that's how that works. So take a look at those sentences. Make sure you understand how they got there.